Hello, and thank you for joining me today. This is Pod Save Nigeria. Nigeria is going down the drain, and I believe we can save Nigeria through this podcast. My name is Emmanuel, and I've been following Nigerian politics for over 20 years. This podcast is your companion through ideas, people, and forces, and we are shaping Nigerian and global conversation. Today, we are turning the spotlight on someone with deep roots in both places, in Nigeria and also in the United Kingdom. We are talking about no other person than Kemi Badenoch, aka Auntie Kemi, a British politician of Nigerian heritage that is now the leader of the UK Conservative Party and also the leader of the opposition. She's made history, sparked debates, and captured global audience with her bold views. Today, we will explore who she is, what she stands for, and how Nigerians feel about her, and why her story matters to us at home. So let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. Tikemi was born on the 2nd of January 1980 in Wimbledon, London, to Nigerian parents. And after she was born, she was taken to Nigeria by her parents, and then she moved back to the UK as a teenager. While she was in Nigeria, she attended primary school. She attended secondary school as well. She went to Federal Government Girls College, Odogbolu, in Ogun State. So she spent, I would say, about 17, 15, let's just say 15 years to be conservative in Nigeria. And after that, she moved back to the United Kingdom. And in the United Kingdom, she studied, of course, she went to the university. She studied, I think, elects. And then after studying elects, she also studied law. And then what next? In terms of her professional journey, she worked as a software engineer and with some consulting company. She did a little bit in media, and then eventually she started politics. In 2017, she was elected an MP for Saffron Walden. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And later for Northwest Essex. The big one came on the 2nd of November 2024. That's when she became the leader of the Conservative Party and the leader of the opposition. And in doing that, she made history as the first Black person and the fourth woman to lead the party. Who are the women that led the Conservative Party before her? We'll talk about Almighty Margaret Thatcher, that was the first female prime minister in the United Kingdom. I think that was in the 70s stroke early 80s. Again, we talk about Margaret Thatcher. We talk about Theresa May. Brexit means Brexit, even though she can't explain what it means. And after Theresa May, we talk about Liz Truss, that almost break the United Kingdom financially. That is not, but what I'm saying is that she's just the fourth woman all over to lead, to be the leader of the Conservative Party, looking at their history. So our achievement in that regard is big. About political identity, that is bold. She's known for being a committed Brexiter. She's not like Theresa May that campaigned for Remain, and then later after Brexit means Brexit and all those nonsense. She was a committed Brexiter, and then she likes challenging woke culture and also emphasizing free markets and individual responsibility. And she was doing well until then came the big statement that steered the storm. She said she no longer identifies as Nigerian and that she hasn't renewed her passport in decades and defines herself as British by nationality only and Nigeria only by ancestry. Let's quickly dig into that. She said she no longer identifies as Nigerian just because she has not renewed her passport in decades. I don't know about that, but one thing I can say is there are many Nigerians living, not just in the United Kingdom, living all over the world that has not renewed their Nigerian passports in a very long time. Many of them, once they have their British passport or the passport of wherever they are, they stop renewing their Nigerian passports. And why? It's just because when you have the Nigerian passports, almost everywhere you are, if you want to travel, they would you face more abuse in terms of the way they attend to you in the airports. They will check you. Sometimes they will check you separately. By the time you want to cross the border to a country, they will questions they are not asking other people. They will ask you. Once they see your green passport, you are already a suspect. So I can't blame anyone that has chosen not to renew their Nigerian passport. So what does this mean for her, for Nigerians, and for the idea of identity? So this is what we are going to be digging into next.
Number one. Smoking fire, we're going to fight that sound. One best up.
So as we are digging into it, let's turn to how people are responding. Many people in Nigeria saw the rise of Kemi Badenoch and Kemi as a source of pride, including myself. I see this as a testament to what Nigerian abroad can achieve. But a distancing from Nigerian identity also triggered mixed reaction. Let's look at what people are saying on social media. I'm just going to pick this one, and the comments read, "We celebrated her as a daughter of the soil, but now she says she's not one of us." And one thing about that person saying that is that that's someone that was disappointed with that statement. And this is someone that has celebrated that, when we say daughter of the soil in Nigeria, we are referring to someone that is born and bred, as in someone that is local. And now she's saying she's not one of us. And let's look at another angle. Let's see what this person has said. So this person has argued that identity is personal. If she feels British and not Nigerian, that's her right. But we shouldn't impose Nigerianness on anyone. Yes, that is true. We should not impose being Nigerian on anybody. If anyone feel they are not one of us, then yes, they can be who they want to be. But then there is this broader sentiment that we need to look at. How can you be a citizen of Nigeria? You can be a citizen of Nigeria by birth or by marriage. And one thing about being a Nigerian is that she may claim British identity, but the Nigerian public will always see her as a Nigerian. So her story is too interwoven with her heritage to simply be divorced from it. What she stands for is bigger than her herself. And one thing I can say about her is that what she stands for is bigger than her. When many people see her, they see a Nigerian dream. They see hope. Because if you look at the state of Nigeria at the moment, there is a lot going on. And when people see someone like, gives people the belief of what is possible. And I must tell you, the story of people like her is what is influencing a lot of the people's Japa stories. Because people felt like if Kemi can travel to the United Kingdom at the age of 17 and she can be at the top, they believe that they also can achieve that feat.
Set one bus line all over the world. Straight up out of Barcelona, Princess in the sense to sing. Ochimanchi, representing Vital Sound from Barcelona, straight up out of Vital Road. Rasta man, when is it on?
Now we want to go a step further. We want to look at the identity debates. So, and the question is, can Auntie Kemi dissociate herself from Nigeria? And should she? So can Kemi Badenoch, can she dissociate herself from Nigeria? This is possible, and I'll tell you why. The number one reason why she can is personal autonomy. Identity is deeply personal. No matter how people want to be emotional about it, if she chooses to identify as British only, that's her choice. It's her prerogative, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. So she can do it. And let's step back a little bit and look at her political practicality. She's a leader of a major British party, so she may feel the need to be fully British to convince our people that she has undivided commitment to them. But if we want to look at that, Rishi Sunak did not have to do that to become the prime minister. But one can argue that when it comes to the election, Rishi Sunak did not win the election because Rishi Sunak was made the prime minister by the MPs, and when the time came for the British public, they looked the other way around. So she might feel that maybe Rishi Sunak lost that election partly because of heritage. Well, that is there. People, nobody knows. That might be a reason why some conservative party members chose to go with Labour. One can never tell because, but that is there. We can give so many reasons for Richie losing that election. The Conservative Party was unpopular, but for someone like Kemi, she might feel that plays a part. Nobody knows. And also, let's look at another reason that she can. Let's look at her lived reality. She was married, I think, to a British person, and she has spent most of her adult life in the UK. And this is where she's built her career. She doesn't have, I might have said she has a limited formal ties with Nigeria, but I will still argue no, because her parents still lives in Nigeria. Her parents, of course, her parents choose to live in Nigeria at the moment. So she may genuinely feel less connected, but she's not totally far from Nigeria. But at least that is her lived reality. She's married to a British, she lives in the UK. She's working as an MP in the UK. She's a leader of the opposition. So that might make her feel that she is British and she's not. That might make her feel she needs to make a choice. And remember, there are some countries where they don't allow dual citizenship. Recently, we had the story of Mozambique after they removed their president, after the protest that led to the removal of their president. You can see that yesterday the president was denied, the president's citizenship was removed. And that was because while he was president, he applied for French citizenship. So he's now a citizen of French. And the people of Mozambique said they didn't agree with her because in their constitution, they don't allow dual citizenship. So based on that, she lost her citizenship of Mozambique.
Yourself smoking fire, Jalex, Jabu wax on the pan, ha, Fighter San, Ndiro,
and so let's move further and see why. Because there is an argument why she should not. So because the country where she is, fortunately, the United Kingdom allows dual citizenship. Nigeria, on the other hand, also allowed dual citizenship. So there is no real cause for her. So let's look at the arguments against that. And one argument against that, the first one is symbolic representation. Many Nigerians see as success as one of us. So people feel as succeeding, people see themselves as succeeding. So saying she's no longer Nigerian, that may feel like a loss of inspiration to others because some people personally feel they've lost someone. And then again, let's look at the cultural roots. Identity goes beyond official citizenship. Identity reflects upbringing, values, language, heritage. Those Nigerian roots remain part of our story. This is someone that went to a federal government college. That means at least 2 times a week, Monday and Friday, on the assembly ground, we will sing the national anthem. That at least she might have to sing more than that. And other things. And she's Yoruba again. So, there is a lot that she's passed through that reflect that Nigerian upbringing. Even if you see her talk in the parliament, you feel that Nigerianness in her. So let's go to the third one, diaspora responsibility. There are global Nigerians who embrace a dual identity to bridge worlds. So because there is Nigerian, there is UK, or those two countries, there's a bridge between the two. So her choosing one over the other limits that bridging role that she's expected to play. But although I've given you why and against, in the end, she has every right to define her identity. Because one thing we can just argue is that she also carries a bigger narrative than her, and that is of Nigerian excellence abroad. So she's free to is she free to be British only? Yes, of course. But as she's claiming that British only, she should also acknowledge her roots. She should acknowledge the community that watched her rise. She should acknowledge the community and the symbol she represents. And on that basis, I would say maybe the real answer is both. She's both British and Nigerian. Her Britishness should not overshadow Nigerianness. Likewise, the Nigerianness should not overshadow her Britishness. Identity, in her own case, is really one or the other. So she should try as much as possible to embrace both roots. And let's zoom out a bit, because Kemi Badenoch's story is part of a global trend. Politicians with immigrants or diasporic roots often struggle with dual identities. I've mentioned Richard Sunak, for instance. Who knows, maybe part of why he lost the election is because British people did not choose him in the election, the poll, because of his Indian roots. But let's think of figures like Nikki Haley in the US. She has Indian heritage, which is part of her identity, and she also embraced American politics. And I think Nikki Haley in the US has been able to manage both identities in good light. What does this teach us as Nigerians? So it reminds us that identity can be layered. You can be Nigerian in heritage and British in nationality. You can succeed abroad and still honor where you came from. That you are succeeding abroad doesn't mean that you should forget where you are from. So the key is that choice of identity doesn't erase the other. Our national narrative doesn't need her to endorse us to matter. So that identity is there. And as we were talking about this, one thing that I would say is that you choose Nigeria as your heritage doesn't mean that you agree with the political nonsense that is going on in Nigeria. I know currently, because of the political situation in Nigeria, many people are dissociating themselves with Nigeria because of the corruption, because of the killings, because of everything that is going on that is not right. Yeah, because of the way the government is, because of envy-handedness of the government. All those things are frustrating people. Look at the value of the naira. Look at the hardship people are facing. So there is a lot to make people feel tired of being Nigerian or associating with Nigeria. Even what you experience when you are traveling, anytime you are at the airport, they see you as a suspect just because they see your green passport. So I understand anyone that is coming out to get to say they are not Nigerian, they are no longer Nigerian. But what I would say is that we should be proud of ourselves, of our heritage, and do all we can to improve it. But despite all this talk around heritage and the like, I think there is something for us to be proud of. So let's close this on a high note. And this is because Nigeria's story is not defined only by politics. This year, a 15-year-old Nigerian artist, Kanyeyachukwu Tagbo-Okeke, set a new Guinness World Record for the largest art canvas. That is 12,304 meters square, and titled it "Impossibility is a Myth." This art canvas was created to raise awareness about autism and support families living with it. And what does this show us? While debates swirl around identity, this young Nigerian showed the world that possibility knows no limits. It's a reminder that our country is full of people breaking barriers, rewriting narrative, and reaching new heights. Even though Kemi Badenoch is doing her own in the United Kingdom Parliament, breaking new heights, becoming the MP, there are other people doing this all over the world, in the US, in the UK, and everywhere. Some are even doing it in this United Kingdom. It's just that because they are not politicians, there is no noise around it. So everywhere you are as a Nigerian, keep your head high, continue breaking barriers, continue to rewrite the narrative, and very soon you will reach your new heights. So today we've looked at the rise of Kemi Badenoch, origin, her choices, her position in British politics, and what it means for us as Nigerians. And the question we ask is, can she dissociate from Nigeria? Should she? And we saw that identity isn't always simple. And we finish with a story of promise from a Nigerian breaking records and redefining possibility. If this episode gave you something to think about, let's keep the conversation going. Share it with friends. Subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and let's move forward together. Remember, I am Emmanuel, and this is Pod Save Nigeria podcast. I have been studying Nigerian politics for over 20 years. Stay thoughtful, stay hopeful. Once again, remember to share this with your friends. And thank you very much for listening. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.